dropped, and it's showtime from downtown Winnipeg.
See the blast. Moves back. Scores! Shankly wires it. Scores!
What a stop by Hellebuck.
Kyle Connor. Jets go bang, bang, bang.
Welcome to Ground Control, the official podcast of the Winnipeg Jets.
Welcome to episode 156 of Ground Control. Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton will join me again next week. Of course, Mitchell will be running everything as he tends to do, but we are in the midst of a road trip, a little busy. So in order to get this podcast out to you, I'm going solo for this one. So today's guest is Dylan Samberg, of course, the young defenseman of the Winnipeg Jets. And I asked about a lot of things, actually, just his growth as a player over the past year. Also got Nate Schmidt to comment on Dylan Samberg's growth as a player in the National Hockey League. Of course, Dylan Samberg traditionally matches up with Nate Schmidt in the third defense pairing for the Winnipeg Jets. And, of course, the Minnesota High School State Hockey Tournament is going on right now south of the border. Asked both players about that. So enjoy this episode of Ground Control.
Shop where the players shop. Jets Gear and TrueNorthShop.com are your authentic team stores. Make sure to stock up on all your favorite Winnipeg Jets and Manitoba Moose merchandise today. Visit one of the 5 Jets Gear locations or shop online at TrueNorthShop.com.
Hi, this is Dylan Samberg, and you're listening to Ground Control, the official podcast of the Winnipeg Jets.
All right, well, Dylan, I bring you on because it's the perfect time of year. The Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament's going on right now. Just talk about the prestige and all the excitement that leads up to that tournament, especially when you grow up in that state.
No, it's awesome. It's what every kid dreams of at that age. And I grew up as a little kid watching all those teams make it, and I ended up going to a lot of those state tournaments and watching them, and eventually making it to a couple myself. And it's a great overall experience, and you're playing on an NHL rink in front of a lot of fans. So, it's the best time of the year.
I think that's why people don't understand about the tournament itself is that you do play we're the home of the Minnesota Wild, and I imagine growing up in Minnesota, you want to play for the Wild and all that stuff like that. But what's that experience like when you walk into that building the first time to play in that tournament?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, no, it's a little bit different than the home high school rinks. So.
Yeah.
So that part's different, and you got the big student sections, and lots of people. AA usually fills out the entire barn, but it's just an experience like no other, and it's an awesome time of the year.
Do you think it prepares you for the NHL and even college itself because of the magnitude of that tournament?
It definitely helps with more experience in larger crowds and stuff like that, But I think for those kids, the big main part is just taking it all in and enjoying it, because you might get there, you might not get there, but if you end up getting there, you really don't know if you're going to get there again. So really just enjoy it and enjoy the experience. For
everybody that's outside of the state of Minnesota, where we get the most part of a connection to that tournament is the all-hair team. I just asked you about it before we were walking over to this location in a hotel. Did anybody grow some really good hair on your team? And then what is it like seeing everybody else's team and the hair that's been growing?
Yeah, I never really had the long hair back in the day, unfortunately. But no, we had a lot of guys on our team that ended up making it on the all hockey hair team. And I remember Barry Melrose ended up doing an ESPN special on it. They ended up calling us Hairman Town, but no, that was kind of cool to be a part of that experience. But no, I never really had any of the flow like everyone else did.
What was the best? Who had the best hair of your teammates when you went to the tournament a couple of times?
Ooh, we had a lot of guys with longer hair, but in my age group, probably Jesse Jocks. He had the long red flow. We had a lot of guys with a lot of flow, but it was really cool.
But how is it hard to take them seriously as that hair starts to grow leading up to that tournament, I imagine?
I think a lot of guys prepared for it, but no, it's just really cool. Looking back on it, I wish I would have had longer hair, but didn't at the time. But no, it's just another part of the tournament that's really awesome.
You ended up scoring an overtime winning goal, double overtime winning goal, and you did a pretty cool celebration. So take our listeners through that.
Yeah, that's something you really don't expect to happen. But it was a hard-fought game and tight one. Neither team could score. It ended up going into double overtime and just kind of threw a harmless wrist shot from the point and ended up going in. And I remember going back in 2011 when UMD won the national championship there. My dad and I were able to get tickets last second to the game, and we ended up watching Hermantown's Nate Schmidt, who played for UMD, score in overtime and do the Snow Angel celebration. So that's as soon as I scored, that's the first thing I thought of. So I ended up doing the Snow Angel.
It's a funny thing, too, because did you ever think of you were going to score the overtime winning goal and you're like, okay, if I do score today, I'm going to do that celebration, or it just popped up right there? It
popped in my head right there, just because that's where UMD won the national championship in 2011. And, he was a Hermantown native. It was Kyle Schmidt, sorry, and really cool. But, just be able to experience both of those things was really awesome.
Now, it's my understanding that the high school you played for had lost a bunch of championships in a row beforehand. Was it 6 or something like that? Or is it just...
It was like 7 or 8.
My gosh. So like the Minnesota Vikings of the Super Bowl, therefore. It's like
seriously. That was a tough stretch and, tough time for, obviously really good to make it there that many times in a row. But, just couldn't find a way to win. And, I remember I was on one of those teams, the last one, my sophomore year there. But, just kind of an unfortunate turn of events there. And, felt really bad for our head coach there, Bruce Plant. Mm-hmm. And, it felt really good my junior year to finally get that done and, get that curse over with.
Talk to people about Bruce Plant, what type of guy he is and what type of coach was he?
Great coach. He's a hard-nosed coach, and, I love that and I respect that. And, I was really fortunate enough to be able to play for him in his final couple of years there. And, it was awesome. He was a good player's coach, and he'd also get on you and let you know what you did wrong or whatnot. But, that's what you need, and I feel like that's what was really helpful in our success.
Dylan, how fortunate do you feel to win those 2 state championships in high school and then go on to win 2 NCAA championships? Like, that's very unique and for anybody, right?
Yeah, that was an awesome 4 years, to say the least. It's not something that you think about, finishing off the season 4 years in a row with a win. But, it was just awesome because, to end the drought in high school of winning and then be able to do it again the next year. And then I was originally planning on going down to Waterloo to play some juniors. Yeah. And then Neil Pionk decided to go pro, and that ended up propelling me into UMD. And we got off to a slow start there at UMD my freshman year. We had a lot of 10 freshmen, and then came back after Christmas, flipped things around, ended up barely getting into the tournament, and it worked out for us. And we came back the next year and we had a lot of experience and knew what it took to get through, and ended up working out again.
How tight are people from Minnesota, the hockey players, and the kind of like a fraternity, I guess, like with Neil Pionk, Nate Schmidt, Blake Wheeler? Like, how tight is everybody from that state that there's that sort of pride that you played for university in your home state?
Everyone's great. I feel like we got a good Minnesota crew here. We had a lot of Minnesota guys on our team, but it's good. It's good to have, and everyone that grows up in Minnesota wants to play for some college in Minnesota or something like that. But when you eventually do get the chance to do that, it's really special.
What's your favorite part of your hometown of Hermantown?
Ooh, favorite part probably the outdoor rinks. Yeah, we have. They did some renovations over the past couple of years here, but we used to have 4 outdoor rinks along with the indoor rink and the warming shack. And I remember in high school, our middle school on up, and we'd always, after school, we'd drop our bags off in the morning, and after school, we'd run over to the rinks because they were only, like a 5-minute walk, and then play there till our parents picked us up after work. So that was definitely my best part growing up. I'd have to go with that one.
Did you ever stumble upon the Pionk's legendary baseball field?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. Yep. I grew up mainly with a couple of his younger brothers. Yeah. So they were more my age. So I knew them well. And right across from their house, they have a big wiffle ball field. It's got a big green monster.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. I spent some time over there as well. But just really, really cool area over there.
Like, listen, it's a small town, but all the stuff that you're talking about is pretty unique as well. To have all these places and all these, like, all the families are tight and everything like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's really important for a small town like that, and just trying to have that sense of community. And I feel like everyone's pulling for each other, and that's good to have. And it's really helpful.
I know I've talked to you about this before, but you play high school in Minnesota, University in Minnesota, and then you get drafted by the Winnipeg Jets not too far away from your home. Like, another question like this, but just you must feel pretty fortunate about that.
Absolutely. No, it's I feel like Winnipeg and my hometown are very similar, whether that be the city or weather.
Yeah.
So that part's really awesome, and it's nice that my parents can come up very easily, just make a little quick 6.5 hour drive, and I feel very fortunate enough for that, and just really fortunate to be able to play in the NHL.
It's funny they bring up weather because we've just came away from some real nice weather. Last year you got to go to the state of Florida and a couple extra days because of the weather that was in Winnipeg beforehand. And let's talk about the journey for yourself between last year at that time when we went to Florida to this year. How much have you grown as an NHL player?
Last year I was very happy to get the call up and be able to play in some games, and that was good for my experience, and which led into this year. But I think last year was just kind of trying to take it all in, play well, take it all in, enjoy it while I can, and I feel like that helped me into this year. Had that 15 games of experience, and I just keep trying to build on that, and I feel like as the season came along, I feel like I've grown in confidence.
How about the weather itself? Like, it's a little bit of a break, and I'm not trying to make our listeners mad, but to leave the snow and get that, how is that good for your mental well-being, I guess, in some ways, during a long grind of an NHL season?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, just to get some vitamin D is awesome. And be able to get outside, take a walk around, in T-shirt and shorts is nice. But, it's been great. It's good this road trip compared to last year. We started off with 2 wins on this one compared to last year where we went 0 for 3. But it's definitely helpful, and it came at a much needed time where we needed to get some wins. The trip out in Florida has been great.
Let's talk about this a little bit. The things weren't going the team's way, especially those last 2 games against San Jose and Minnesota at home, and then to get the 2 wins that you did, especially the way you guys did in Florida and Tampa Bay. How huge was that?
It was immense. We needed it, and we don't want to stop here. We want to keep it going. But just looking to kind of like build off that and keep it going. But they were definitely big wins against some good hockey teams, and we got another good one on Monday or Tuesday here.
I'm knocking on wood or something. I'm finding wood here. But how nice is it to be thinking somewhat about the playoffs as we get closer to April?
Great. That's our goal. Just to make it to playoffs, and we went through a tough stretch there, but we got a good group here, and I really think we can pull through.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Hey Jets fans, I'm Sarah Orleski. Don't forget to join me after each and every home game for the Winnipeg Jets post-game show live presented by Budweiser, where you'll get exclusive interviews, in-room access, and more. Catch us on all Winnipeg Jets platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and WinnipegJets.com.
Dylan Samberg, his first full year in the NHL. You play with him a lot. What have you seen in the growth in him over the last little bit?
I think it's just confidence in himself and in the D zone. I think it's always been his bread and butter. Now you see him starting to skate and how well he can get up into guys' faces and create some space on the forecheck, away from the forecheck, excuse me, and giving your guys a chance to be a one-man breakout, right? I think you just see how much more he's matured this year and just been comfortable with what his game is instead of trying to do everything, and trying to be Josh and Dilly it's just he'd be the best Sammy you can be, and he has been, and he's been I think he's done a fantastic job. I love watching him this year.
Lighter question: the Minnesota State high school hockey tournament. So, just the fun that goes around it every year. What do you think of it? Start with the hair and everything that ties in.
Yeah, I used to have good hair. I think I think I would have maybe made that. It was a little bit before my time. I was a little bit before the time of the all hockey team. I'd like to submit maybe an old, maybe a retroactive list. Yeah, it's always fun. Even if my team wasn't in it, my school wasn't in it. We lost in the first round, but they ended up taking 5th. But it's such a fun time of the year because we have so many guys from Minnesota on our team too. Yeah. That it's awesome to be able to kind of talk and kind of bicker a little bit about who's rooting for who and whatnot. And I had a couple short side teams in there this year, so I was pulling for the World girls team won, which was huge, but the World boys team lost in the final. We had Hermantown. The tough part for me is there's so many guys from Hermantown. It's fun to cheer against them. Yeah,
naturally.
To play devil's advocate, but I wanted to see, it's just fun. It was great. One of the most attendance they've had for single A that I played in ever. So hopefully this thing keeps trending up.
That was Nate Schmidt talking about defense partner Dylan Samberg before the Jets took on the Carolina Hurricanes on Tuesday. So that is it for an abbreviated edition of Ground Control. Paul, Mitch, and I will be back next week for another edition, episode 157. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening.
This has been Ground Control, the official podcast of the Winnipeg Jets. For more Jets news, videos, and more, head to winnipegjets.com.